sure that some of you remember that Asus M32 AD system back there. Now, this came from the same bunch of stuff. And once again, it falls under the category of, well, I don't have a use for it, but it seems like it's too nice to just simply destroy. But it's Acer branded, so unlike the other one, this should actually be a completely OEM system. I'm trying to clean some of the dirt off of it. Looks like it's still got the plastic wrap on the front, too. That is a laptop-style optical drive. I'm kind of surprised to see that, but also at the same time, kind of not. This is a very highly proprietary system. Aspire. There go all the hard drive screws, because, again, this has no hard drive in it. Which I knew. That was a condition of my taking it. So, what is this? Well, it's got no PS2 ports on it. My camera is complaining about its battery, so I'll probably have to go grab the other battery here in a second. But it's an Aspire TC-705, it looks like. Same basic spec, it's an i7-4790, I think, with 16 gigs of RAM. Taking a look at the back here, you can see relatively nondescript. Again, there's no PS2 ports, but it's got a video card fitted to it, I think anyway. That might be an add too, but I'm pretty sure that's a video card. That's, looks like DisplayPort and DVI. Interesting, because the onboard video is VGA and HDMI. Of course, it's got screws on the cover that I'll have to undo. Unfortunately, the screwdriver is right here. So we'll do the very rare thing of just unscrewing it on video. I actually have a use for this computer now, because a use case has come up. Not that I think it's going to make any difference to what I want. Go ahead and open it, and we'll have a look inside if we can at what we have. Yeah, both RAM slots are populated, so that's good. Again, I'm pretty sure this has 16 gigabytes, but I guess we can verify if we can see the printing on those. On focus, dim. KN8G is what that looks like, so probably 16 gig across both those chips. Looks like a MSI motherboard. OEM by MSI, just by that N1996 that's right there. It does have onboard Wi-Fi. There's the front panel connector. I think it's got a power LED and a power switch, and that's it. So it seems kind of pointless that it's got that big massive connector on it, but it does. That is a GeForce GTX 745. That could probably come out of there. I don't think I need it, and I'd rather have the VGA anyway for what this is going to do. This is probably going to end up as a server, so potentially anyway. I don't really know. Given it doesn't have the PS2, I may not. Because really, for what I'm looking for, I really need the PS2, because I can't be buying USB to PS2 adapters for absolutely everything. So, how many SATA does this have? Is it just 2? Oh no, there's 4 ports there. Oh no, there's 3 ports there. Huh. That's weird. Looks like they thought about putting a 4th one. Oh no, that's a BIOS write protect. So, maybe not. This power supply is a light-on model. I will probably pull that out and replace it with something that's got some 80 plus ratings, but does not have a whole lot of wiring, because obviously that's not of much use here. Again, there's the optical drive, right up in there. And indeed, it is a laptop-style drive. So, there you go. Alright, let me go ahead and get this thing in shape fit to power on. Okay, here's what we've got. I put in this CoolMax power supply that was sitting around. It's got some 80 plus bronze certification. It's too big for this case, but I'm not sure I really care. Claims to be a 600 watt power supply. That's a bit of a stretch. But, you know, it might be good for 350, which is probably all that this needs. It's got a lot of extra wiring, though. Pulled the video. I'm just going to use the onboard video. And it's got a hard drive in it. Someone's probably going to tell me that I should put an SSD in here, and they're probably right, but since I've got the rubber grommets with the screws for the hard drive, and this is just going to be a secondary machine that's used for debugging stuff anyway, I don't really care. This is the way that it's going to be. SSDs don't grow on trees. Well, they do, actually. I have a source for a basically endless supply of them, but at the end of the day, not everything needs it, and this 500 gigabyte hard drive was sitting around, so I might as well make use of it. I don't know where the other 2 screws went, if it even had all 4 screws at one point. I should probably check the other machine. And since that other machine is probably just going to get scrapped, I may as well grab the screws out of it, so I have all the screws. Interestingly, I note that this has a rear space for a rear fan, but there's no fan header on this board. You can see where they thought about it. But it's not populated, so no fan for you. You can also see where they thought about keyboard and mouse PS2 ports and didn't bother. So I don't know. It's awfully tempting to just swap this board out for something else. You know, I still have one of those Acer things with the, I think it's a Phenom processor, or the Athlon, or whatever it is that's on it, sitting at work. There'd be a downgrade from this, but, you know, I'm not sure I really care. So, just because this board is so limited. I just don't know if the front panel header would actually work on it. I'm not about to take that and break it up into multiple pieces, because I don't know about you, but I am lazy. Alright, let me put the cover on this and take it over to my test bench and see if it actually does anything. Okay. Here it is, ready to power up. Didn't immediately power on. Okay, it does work. It's usually F2 to get them to set up on an Acer. Seriously? Come on. Delete to enter setup. Oop. Password. I don't think it's supposed to have one of those. Well, at least I know what it is. It's only got 12 gigs of RAM, though, so it's not as nice as I was expecting. Thought it had 16, but whatever. I'm not sure I'm dedicated enough to do something about that. There's the drive, so it is showing up. I presume that it's good. You don't get a lot of options on this. I'll go and I'll turn the option ROM on for what little good it's going to do. Look at that CPU temp. Of course, I don't know if it's really accurate. Power off. By onboard LAN should be enabled. And since this is a server, we'll turn that on. Secure boot. That can stay off, I don't need that. Okay, deleted the BIOS password. The boot option. Launch CSM, set to always. I think all of that's fine. Should be able to save and exit setup. And then I'll figure out what I'm going to install on it. Okay, I'm actually going to cut the video off here, and I know that some people are probably going to be upset for my doing this, but I still have not really determined how I want to go about this, because what this is going to do is it's going to be either replacing or housing a single virtual machine that I have discovered I have a need for more RAM on, so I'd like to give it a dedicated box with as much RAM as possible, which, I mean, it's kind of funny I'm giving it 12 gigs instead of 16, but I haven't determined yet, like I said, how I want to go about that, and if I want to use the hardware directly. Let's see, here's the optical drive, laptop style, extremely flimsy. Nice. I haven't determined if I want to use the hardware directly or if I want to still keep it as a VM. I'm leaning towards still keeping it as a VM, but then I got to decide what platform I want that to be, which operating system version, etc., etc. So I'm short on time. It's about 2:30 right now. I don't really have time to be hemming and hawing on this, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to shut this down now and move on to other projects. But you saw it. It exists. i7-4790, another one of these systems that's, you know, I have it, now what? But I have determined that I will be doing something with it in the near future. Thanks for watching. If you've got any comments, feel free to leave them below.